6. Oh, guess what? It's part 3 of watching Cure be better than everybody at Terran vs. Protoss. Into the game. So what's lovely is that we have seen a completely different opening. Very fast Widowmine drop into the back of the main base. We've seen Trap open in a different way. Colossus tech first instead of Templar tech first. Ooh! Is it different? Sure. But there is the identical convergence point. Sinister 7. 5 racks, 1 factory, 1 starport. How many engineering bays? 1, and never looking to get more. Even though Cure might have an astoundingly lot more. Jesus, I didn't realize it was that bad. Holy crap. Okay. Holy baller. Look at that. Oh my god. He lost the initial medevac, both mines, and all the marines, and killed nothing. The entire structure of Cure's build was to do a fast mine drop. And he did no damage. And yet, Cure has gotten back to this juicy convergence point with the Sinister 7 production structures. And he is doing different things with his units. He's still getting the mines, but with his units, he's hitting the back. He's doing more drop focus. Oops, that's louder than I imagined. I'm so bad at volume. Just a little bit of a drop. Not too much, just a little bit.
Add-on complete.
Look at how low that gas is. Thank goodness that we rushed to get that 4th factory up. Or excuse me, the 4th refinery up. We see the medevacs here getting ready. Now, this, typically we see the 3rd base go down for Cure at like 12.5 minutes. Insanely late. And in the meantime, Cure is just pumping out puppies, man. Pumping out puppies, I think, is actually not colloquialism. I think I just made that up. He's literally building dogs. Getting plus little armor. Look at Cure. He's bravely dropping on the edge. Just trying to deal a little bit of damage. Now, if you've been ultra perceptive, you're noticing something up in this here production tab. Something very subtle, something very important, something very poignant. No Vikings.
Research complete.
No Vikings. There has been no Vikings. Remember all those little moves to seize up vision around the map? Well, this is going to allow Cure to do the Mega Doom drop. I will now make a statement. If you are against not many Colossus, such as 2 to 3, you can just kill him with bio. Here comes Mr. Marine. And, oh, spotted it. The time to strike is now. Look, there's like just so many units on the screen. Ah. Oh my god. Da -da 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 -da. And the big drop comes in. There is a Colossus. Often, if you are against a player who is Colossusing, in order to hold off a multi-pronged attack, he will be splitting his Colossus. So remember how I said 2, sometimes 3 you can deal with, which is basic bio. By hitting in multiple places, you often are only ever up against 1 or 2. There might be 3 or 4 on the map. You don't know that. Fast Burrow and Widow Mines, doing quite a bit of slaying. This attack went barely poorly for Trap because of just some awkward building placements. So this should have worked really well, because it's basically just Stalkers and 1 Colossus. But this is a great warp in here that did just some great work. And of course, all the bio up here can't really funnel through here, and the medevacs were unable to heal them. I think I actually need to be more concrete here. Dropping some of your units on top of the Colossus is great. Dropping some of your units on the Colossus is great, but don't send empty medevacs because healing is so good. Basic bio is pretty bad, even just against zealots and stalkers. But I mean, look at the energy on all those things. They didn't even heal in that fight. So we might want to say, oh my god, Cure has lost the game, he's messed up. There's no third. The pressure has indirectly punished Trap. So even though it was a little bit of an oopsie moment, a little bit of a whoopsie doopsie moment, Cure shall not relent.
Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete.
Mr. Mime. Meow. Doesn't even hit anything. So this is where Trap elects to go for a counterattack. I would like you to notice. No Vikings in production. Pretty insane, right? Here is a single drop in the main that gets in. There is an attack going on, a counter from Trap. And this might look like Cure could lose this, but I mean, already look at the army numbers. Cure is like way ahead.
Your forces are under attack. Our SCVs are under attack.
And remember, one of the most important things about anything I say or anything that you hear in life. You're allowed to think. I give you permission to think. You're a very smart person, you. So smart, look at you. Ooh. I will say things like, notice how he is not getting any Vikings. Ooh, getting all medevacs. We can still win without Vikings against Colossus. And then I'll get emails or tweets, and people will be like, "What? So you're saying that you should never build Vikings?" No, you are allowed to think. If you are in a position and you evaluate it and go, Vikings are the right answer. Yeah, you are allowed to make that decision. That is okay. That is a fine thing to do. So when I'm pointing out these medevacs, I don't want it to, in your mind, be the new rule. I want it to be the something to notice. Just notice this. And then you can incorporate that into your own thinking, which you're totally allowed to do. I was actually, one of the engineers at Artillery, Mark, said that line to me, and I loved it, where he was proposing like this new workflow, how we break into teams to accomplish tasks, and I said, but wait, I mean, if we're finishing the goal tasks early and everyone's ungated, I mean, would we just make a new team to do something different, like midway through the week? And he said, yes, we are allowed to think. And I was like, yeah, of course. Why would we not just make a new team if there's no tasks for the old team to do? Why would we? Yes, of course we're allowed to think. What a great comment. Well, you're allowed to think. You're allowed to think.
Our SCVs are under attack.
That struck me.
SCVs are under attack.
This mine has been such an ass. He's like shooting probes as they go into a simulator. He's been like, sorry, I'm not going to go in there and detonate. I'm scared of buildings.
Base is under attack.
So we see, yet again, not an emphasis upon the Viking. Not an emphasis upon that which slays the skies. Just oodles and oodles
Is under attack.
of Marine, Marauder, Mine, Medevac. Remember, no matter what the time, what the matchup, as long as your M key works and your A key's functioning, you can play Terran 2. Oh god. Shoot it. Get home. I think I made this exact same joke when I was casting this too. Get me out. Oh. I had the worst day at work. Ah, the Noble Widow Mine. This was a suck ass right there. That was a stinker. So in the end game, where we do have here 3 Colossus, 12 Zealots, 11 Stalkers, and just a pool of basic bio. What will occur? There's no SCV pull here. Nobody's pulling the boys. Alright, one Viking gets slain before the battle begins. Mothership core absorbing most of the damage. Slowing the battle down. Mines annihilating everything. So many marauders. These Colossus, do they matter? Hell no. I mean, and how does Cure deal with the Colossus? He loads up, and here's the way to do this. Just the 2 full ones advance, all the other ones pull away. See you later, Colossus. While all that was going on, you may not have seen it, but I saw it. A cute little drop. Marines, Marauder to shoot the photon cannon. Oh! Oh! And then the attack so begins. Tequila. Commentary always degenerates when there's 30 seconds left in the game. Da-da, da-da-da. Quickly, mine resources. Gather the gas. Warp in the Templar. Retreat the probes. Expand to the main. Okay, GG. Tequila. Let's go ahead and unmute the chat. And let us begin to take questions, but first a recap. Number 1, we learned that we have this convergence point of the Sinister 7 production structures. 5 racks, 1 starport, 1 factory, pumping out units. It works well versus Templar. It works well versus Colossus. It works well if we open bio or open with a fast mine drop. It is a convergence point that allows us to drill between 10 and 15. One of the consequences of this are we get to do a lot of fancy micro. We learn techniques such as hitting the front against Templar, doing drops against Colossus. We learned that we can do cute things like using 1 mine in a medevac instead of doing a total split of our armies. We learned how nice it was to split the armies together. And this led us to 3. What are the long-term effects of this? Well, we don't actually have to get ghosts or Vikings super fast. We can stay getting medevacs, stay getting mines, and Marauders and Marines and whatnot. Blur, 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 blur. We can do all this basic mid-core tech, and because we're attacking so much, we're keeping Protoss down. And when he gets his Colossus, he has to bring them to the front. And we can just not get the Vikings for a little bit. You're, again, allowed to think, and you may. But I think this is a very cool way to view the matchup. It de-emphasizes upgrades. I don't think I said that explicitly that much, but there's not as big an emphasis on getting the upgrades, on getting the engineering base. So that's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Fireball at 1983 says, Dana, would you ever play Battle Royale with JP again? I would say, maybe. I feel like it is almost a good game. The start is so fun, and then I just get bored and frustrated almost all the rest of the time. So, Biedrick says, Day 9, Red Bull DC actually asked you about Templar openings, and you said they work best against a Terran who's being very aggressive. That said, do you think this is the best way to play against a style like Cures? Or is going Colossus better? Or are they both equally good? Is it possible to scout a Terran? Is going for you this style before you have to commit to one tech path? Or do I have to choose at the start, etc., 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 etc.? So I want to answer this in a couple of ways. I have no idea what the hell I said, but one of the reasons that I would say that generally Templar are good against aggressive players are that you have lots of storm, and he is walking into you into the storm, and you're just happy to be storming a whole lot. this particular style has a window where it's actually pretty damn good against Templar. I would point to Cantonella, where we saw at the start, Trap was looking like he was about to die because his zealots are getting roasted by the mines. It's not that the Templar themselves are the weak part of the opening, but by going Templar, you have to build a lot of zealots. Zealots suck against mines. So we saw at the start and at the mid, Trap really struggling, but eventually Trap pulled together again with great storms, almost won that game. So in that context, in the later stages of the game, Templar are great for bringing on the aggressiveness. There's another reason why Templar openings can be pretty good against aggression at all points, and that's the Warp Prism. So it's not really the Templar, it's just a Warp Prism. That's good. So to answer the core of this question, is going Colossus better or is going Templar better, or are both equally good? I think both are fine, both are workable. They just have wildly different ways that they play out. The Warp Prism was brilliant from Trap to do it right as he lost his expansion Nexus to do the counter warping. Warping counterplay is your ticket to winning with a Templar play at pretty much any position. Colossus, I think if you see this, it is okay to be a little bit passive. I think it takes some recognition to go into the main and to see 5 barracks, a factory, and a starport before the 3rd. Almost all strategies in StarCraft are based around what the hell's going on with the 3rd, and I think that that's so important. If you're Trap and you see a late 3rd, you gotta know, dude, I shouldn't be trying to attack, I should just be staying home. I think Trap did a pretty good job staying alive in this game. He just decided to attack. Muffin Man asks a fantastic question. Says, adding on barracks 4 and 5 before the 3rd CC means your production costs will now match your 2 base income. Where did Cure get the funds to expand so early in the game on Overgrowth? After getting the production. The supply, or the fact that you don't have to build supply depots helps with that. The effect of losing a handful of workers early is actually kind of amazing. One worker mines 40 minerals a minute. So if you lose 2 workers after 5 minutes, that's 400 minerals that you will no longer have. So if you lose 2 workers at like 8 minutes, you will not be able to build a command center at 13 minutes that you could have had you not lost them. So so that's part of the answer. Another part of the answer is that Cure doesn't quite have non-stop production, especially in terms of SCVs. He's actually cool in the jets on the SCVs, because you can easily get to like 60 in that position if you're just building them non-stop, but he's sort of chilling at like 50 or so. Skydance says, Day 9, I'm new to StarCraft. I need a build to practice and get good at so I can actually use it instead of random buildings. What do you think is the best build for Terran? Alright, Winter. Bronze Master. Alright, there is Winter SC, who does Bronze to Master. This is a fantastic thing. I'm not going to tell you a build. Go do that. Winter StarCraft. It's this great series called Bronze to Master, where the concept behind it is that so much of what you kind of instinctively want to do in StarCraft is to have a really cool strategy and to have a really cool attack and be really good at battling. But really the core, like the hardest part to wrap your head around is that you should just be building workers and building units and building depots. And you can do pretty damn bad all the rest. And as long as you're building units and workers and depots, boom, done, woo, you're going to win all your damn games. So I like this series because it's sort of just like, look, guess what? Just ignore doing anything except building a whole bunch of units. So I think that like that would help you get into that. Yeah, I hope that's reasonable. I mean, unless you're like a Masters player and you're like actually looking for a legitimate build, in which case I'm an asshole. But if you're at that level, then you should totally go to day9.tv and look in the archives, because I have so many builds. take one more. Down. Tequila. Dana, in your opinion, do you feel Terran versus Protoss is a fair matchup for all levels? The answer is who gives a shit. If you're actually looking to improve and get better, then that is the wrong question to ask. Hi. I think that sort of resonates true for all aspects of life. I've been especially inundated with this when, you know, reading about struggles that people have when they get when they want to get into the games industry, and they say things like, but, you know, I don't have a degree in games and I've never made games. How do I get into games? And I'll see people say, well, just make a game. And I actually hear people say, but that's not fair. Shouldn't I be able to just get the right degree and apply to a job? And it's like, damn it, just make a game. Make tons of games. And then you'll actually look really good on a resume, because there's someone who says, I want to make games, and there's someone who's like, I have made 10 games. So who cares if it's fair? Just nail it. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, this is an adorable question. I love this. Dan, has anyone ever told you that you look a lot like the GSL caster Tasteless? Oh. Oh, Nikki. He's my brother. I'm gonna go. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna do a little Hearthstoning. Do, bow, do, 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 bow.